Hey there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be going through some new releases for adult science fiction and fantasy that are coming out this spring. Spring technically doesn't start until March 20th. A lot of these books come out earlier than that, but I'm just going to go with it. And in fact, the first book I'm going to be talking about actually is already out, but I haven't yet discussed it on my channel, so I thought this would be a good opportunity too. But before I go ahead and get on into the video, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button, as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, and sometimes on different days throughout the week. Don't forget to check down in the description box for links to my social media, my Discord, and my Patreon. The first book I'm going to be talking about is A History of What Comes Next by Sylvain Nuevel. This came out in February, and I didn't realize that it had come out already. I read the Themis Files by him last year and absolutely loved it. So when I saw that he was coming out with a new science fiction book, I was like, definitely going to have to read that eventually. This is an alternative history retelling, and I'm not a huge fan of history retellings because in the back of my mind, I'm always like, it's history, it's already happened, you can't change it. But this story follows a girl named Mia, and Mia's whole family for generations has been interested in space exploration, rockets, and trying to get the government to go to space. And as we know, during the 1940s was the time during World War II when the Nazi regime was ruling in Germany. And in this book, Mia is trying to convince Wernher von Braun to leave the Nazis and come work for the Americans to help create a rocket to go into space. But as Mia is doing this, she uncovers that she is not the only one who has these ambitions and the intentions, and that other people are trying to enter the space race as well. So it just sounds really interesting because, during this time, this was something that was being developed. We had Sputnik in the 50s, and then Wernher von Braun had a lot to do with developing rockets. So I'm really interested to see how Sylvain Nuevel takes all of these historical accuracies and turns them into a fictional sci-fi story. Sounds like nothing I've personally ever read before, but if you're someone that's really into that time period and that kind of subject matter, I definitely think it's worth checking out. Plus, like I said, I really enjoyed Themis Files by him. The next book is Machinehood by S.V. Divya, and this has been described as Zero Dark 30 meets The Social Network, which just sounds incredibly bizarre. It's a sci-fi thriller, and I did put a hold on the physical book at my local library. I don't know if I'll actually get to it, but I did put a hold on it. In this book, we are in the year 2095, and AI exists. It has been developed into a part of our everyday society. But in order for people to compete with artificial intelligence, this drug has been developed that people consume as a pill, and it actually enhances their mental abilities, their physical abilities, their stamina, also that they can compete with artificial intelligence. We follow a character named Welga, and Welga is a bodyguard, and one day the person she's supposed to be guarding gets killed right in front of her by these beings that are part machine and part human. She finds out that they are a terrorist organization that goes around trying to destroy the people and or entities that are manufacturing this pill that humans are taking. So Welga takes it upon herself to do anything possible to take down this terrorist group of machine/human operatives. I don't know about you, but that just sounds downright amazing. I've never heard of anything like that. I love the whole rogue AI aspect of it. It sounds like it's going to be just fast-paced, edge of your seat kind of action, and I'm really looking forward to reading it. Machinehood came out on March 2nd. The next book we have is The Light of Midnight Stars by Rena Rossner. She is the author of The Sisters of the Winterwood, which was published a year or two ago. And the only reason I know of it is that it is based off of the narrative poem The Goblin Market, which is one of my favorite narrative poems ever. And that book was actually written in verse, as far as I know. I don't know if this book is written in verse or not, but the other one was. This book has been described as a mixture of fantasy, history, and Jewish folklore. In this book, we follow a family that lives in the Hungarian woods, and they are the descendants of King Solomon, who is mentioned in the Old Testament, but King Solomon had magic, and all of his descendants have magic also. His descendant is Rabbi Isaac and Isaac's daughters, who are all extremely powerful. One day, they decide to help an outsider, and it goes completely wrong. They are labeled as witches and outcast from their home. But an evil darkness is spreading across Europe during this time, and the sisters, with their magical abilities, have to decide if it's worth getting involved and helping out. And they have to make decisions that will not only affect them, but the future of the world. The Light of Midnight Stars comes out on April 13th. Next, we have The Last Watch by J.S. Dews, and this is an adult sci-fi that has been described as The Expanse means Game of Thrones, which just sounds very, very cool to me. But in this world, essentially the universe is collapsing, and there's only one group of people that can fix it, and it is like a ragtag group of criminals and kind of unscrupulous people. But it sounds like it's going to be action-packed, high stakes, suspenseful, and I'm really interested to see if it's going to have some humor in it because of, kind of the ragtag group of shipmates. And this comes out on April 27th. The next book we have is Fugitive Telemetry by Martha Wells. This is the 6th book in the Murderbot Diary series. This is a series that I am still really super interested in reading. These are a collection of novellas that follow Murderbot, and Murderbot is essentially an android that has been created to kill, but all that this android wants to do is live its own life and watch TV and kind of just chill and relax, but that's not what it's programmed for. And I've heard that there's a lot of humor, it's fast-paced, and these novellas are fairly short, so they're really quick to read and get immersed in. And the 6th one does come out on April 27th, and I'm very excited to finally start this series for myself. Next, we have The End of Men by Christina Sweeney-Baird, and this sounds like a sci-fi dystopian kind of futuristic book, and it sounds incredibly interesting, but it's the year 2025 and a virus actually emerges that has killed off the entire male population. So it's only women that are surviving and have to learn to create this new society without men. We follow 3 different women. We follow a historian, we follow an analyst, and we follow a doctor as they are trying to figure out where this plague came from, if there's a vaccine for it. We also follow them as they try to create this new society to figure out how society is going to look without men. And it also follows the lives of the women who have lost men, such as brothers, husbands, fathers, etc., and how they are grieving. So I feel like this book is going to be very multifaceted. It's going to look at several different aspects of if something like this were to happen, the social aspects, the personal aspects, the evolutionary aspects, and I feel like it's just going to be an awesome commentary on what could happen. So it's definitely piqued my interest, and this book also comes out on April 27th. Next, we have Hail Mary by Andy Weir. Andy Weir is the same author of The Martian, and he has come out with kind of a new fast-paced sci-fi book that sounds really, really cool. In this book, we follow a character named Ryland, and he wakes up one day on a spaceship and cannot remember anything. And not only that, but all of the other crewmates on this spaceship are dead. So Ryland is by himself. And he slowly has to get his memories back, and once that has happened, he remembers that he was sent on a mission to save humanity. There is this huge intergalactic threat that is essentially trying to annihilate humans. And with the help of an unexpected ally, Ryland takes it upon himself to try and finish this mission. This book sounds like it's going to be just an awesome intergalactic space travel mission. I'm really excited to find out who this unexpected ally is, if it's an alien or if it's going to be like an AI, and I'm really interested to see exactly what is threatening humanity. So I really enjoyed The Martian, so I'm interested to see how Andy Weir crafts this new story. Hail Mary comes out on May 4th. And next we have The Blacktongue Thief by Christopher Buehlman, and I'm not sure if this is a debut work. I have never read anything or heard of anything about this author before, but it's a new fantasy series. In this world, we follow a character named Kinch, and Kinch is in debt. He owes money to the Traders Guild, which basically taught him how to be a thief. In order to help pay back his debts, he essentially robs people. He waits on like this highway and just robs people. One day, he tries to rob this knight, and it doesn't go so well. This knight actually just got back from fighting in the Goblin Wars, and she is searching for her lost queen. So somehow, Kinch and this lady knight's paths get intertwined, and they end up helping each other search for the queen and kind of fight off these impending Goblin Wars. This world sounds like it's incredibly magical. We have this whole goblin war setting, and then we also have a magic system that surrounds tattoos. So you get tattooed, and then these tattoos kind of give you powers or come alive. And I don't think that's anything I've ever heard about in a fantasy series before. So when I was reading the synopsis, I was like, that sounds really cool. I marked it as to read on Goodreads, and it's definitely a new fantasy series that is on my radar. The Blacktongue Thief comes out on May 25th. Okay, you guys, so that is it for the spring adult science fiction and fantasy releases that are coming out that really interest me. Let me know in the comments if you have read any of these or if you are interested in reading any of them, and I will see you all soon in another video. Goodbye!